Hello, YouTube. Uh, this is going to be my stories of the cryptid video of monsters, I guess you could say, that I've seen. Not ghosts, demons, or angels, but the other half of it. Actually, as we'll talk about ghosts, right there was where the guy came down. He came down the steps, and he was like right here, and I was sitting right here. So I watched him come down. that that's just what that was. But when I guess I'll do the Thunderbird one because that's the more vivid one for me. But I was probably, I would say probably like 18, 19, something around there. And one day I was watching a football game on my TV. It was in the same spot as here. That same spot. And I went into the kitchen. The kitchen's basically set up the same. And looked out this window. Well, that pine tree is, I don't know if you can actually see it over there, but there's a pine tree. There was an old tree. That pine tree's new. And it was an old rickety tree, kind of like that one out there. And it was just, actually, you could see the pine tree right there. It was a little bit taller than the pine tree. And I was walking through the window, went to the sink, and I looked out the window and I saw something sitting in the tree. It was in the tree, just sitting up there. And it's one of those things you see it because it's there and it's in the tree and you're basically looking out a window, looking at it. And it was about the size of me at the time, which I'm 6'2", and at 18 I was probably like 6 foot type deal. I was tall. So this thing is over 6 foot, about 6 foot tall or bigger. And I went outside. Yes, I went out the front door after I saw it. And I was like, what is this thing? I need to see what it is. I went up to the tree. There was a storm coming, but I could still see it. And this was probably about 10 o'clock at night, maybe 11. I'll say 10 because the football game was still going on. I was watching on TV. But I went down, I went outside, looked up at the tree with a flashlight, signed it up, and it spread its wings. And that was the moment in time where I realized I was looking at something special. Because it spread its wings, and its wingspan was probably, I would say, probably about 15 to 20 feet wide. It was not an eagle. I have seen bald eagles and stuff like that. I've seen cranes, herons, all that stuff's in Pennsylvania. I've seen it. This thing spread its wings, flew up into the sky, and it sounded like, just the wingspan sounded like a storm. Just the flapping of the wings sounded like a basically hurricane, tornado, some type of big storm coming towards me. And I was like, yep, this is something special that I'm not going to forget. And I could definitely tell. I'm like, when I tell people about it, I'm like, always say it's like a bald eagle. It looked like a bald eagle, but bigger. It's like, this thing was probably my height, or if not taller, was 15 to 20 feet wingspan. And yeah, that was interesting for me because I'm looking at it. I'm trying to figure out what type of animal this is. It's definitely some type of bird. Went on the computer, I'm like, myths and legends for Pennsylvania that describe it. And there was this YouTube video that popped up at the time from Pennsylvania where someone had this bird flying in the distance. And they're like, hey! They're like over a cornfield. And like, this thing's like 20 feet tall. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's exactly the same thing I saw. And it was marked Thunderbird. So I looked up Thunderbird and saw more stuff. And there was another channel that was kind of like YouTube at the time. It no longer exists that I know of. I don't even remember the name of it. But I got transferred there. And they had a couple things and stuff like that. And I was like, this thing is interesting because it flew over my house a couple times. And it flew over the park when it was flying away. And I was like, yep. This is a interesting animal. So I admit I don't know if it was the Thunderbird. I was calling it before I figured out it was a Thunderbird, the Phoenix, because it was like majestic and big but the Thunderbird, being Native American myself, makes more sense because usually they show up for Native Americans type deal, stuff like that. But that's basically my story for the Thunderbird, which is cool. I enjoy it. Another story. I'm gonna tell you the story I was watching on Yellowstone National Park's YouTube channel. And there was like 15 people in the chat and stuff, and we were talking about how Yellowstone is, because I just enjoy watching live streams. And this was like 2020, 2019, somewhere around now. And I'm watching this video, this live stream, and all of a sudden, like, you could see the people walking back and forth on the thing, but this is later at night where the park's closed, but the sun's still up type deal. It's like, oh, okay, you can see that, you can still see stuff. All of a sudden, 3 creatures show up on the pathway that we've been seeing people walk back and forth like for about 4 hours, and it's like closing time now. So this was like, oh, okay, it's closing time, and it's like maybe some stragglers, and also someone points out, it's like, these things are bigger than humans. It's like, these things have like 3 feet on humans. Like, humans are like max 6 foot if it's a normal human. It's normal American human height is 6 foot. These things are about 9 to 10. It's like the smallest one is about 6 foot. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Just walked by the tree in that one corner, and I was like, it's like, we're all watching this. They're like, this thing is huge. It's like, it's like someone mentions it, chat. Like, it kind of looks like Bigfoot. Like, it looks like a hairy man. Like the black, not brown, but like black type deal. Don't know if that's because of the sun going down or whatnot, but these things were big black, which, like, I don't know, it looks like kind of like a white face. I don't know what you could say. But as we're talking in chat, there's like 15 of us who saw this. As we're in chat, the YouTube video cuts. Not video, stream cuts. And we're like, okay, we don't go back and watch the video. Because we're all in stock, but the chat's still working, but the stream is gone. like for a couple seconds after the YouTube stream goes off, you can still talk and chat. And we were doing this, we got to check out this video. It's like the fact that they cut it off suddenly when these things are in front of us, we got to see what this is. The video is gone. Now the live stream was, the live is gone. The video never came up because normally Yellowstone uploads the video as soon as they're over. That's gone. And then the YouTube channel disappears. There is a new Yellowstone YouTube channel, but that one is gone. And I don't know what that means. It's like, did they find something? Did we see something that day? These like 15 people on me. By the way, my cat's on the cat tree. Did we see something that we were not supposed to see? And because we saw it, they had to delete the entire YouTube channel? Was someone pulling a prank, and because they pulled the prank, they deleted it, but it was like instantaneous? Like, we saw it for maybe 2 minutes. It was up, and we watched these things walk across the screen and stuff. But the channel's gone. The video's gone. And all I have is my memory. Like, it was just random people in chat. I never took note of names or anything like that because it's just like, these people are here. We were talking about what states we were from and stuff like that, and all of a sudden this thing happened. So you go, oh, okay. That happened on live stream. But one day, this one actually happened to me. And me and my dad used to go walking in woods. Like, we're in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of wooded areas. He went back to one of the places he lived as a kid. I went with him. We went up into the mountains. And there's this giant pipeline because it's it's a coal mining area. And as we're walking up the hill, we see ahead of us, off in the distance, looked like a guy wearing fur coats, like multiple fur coats. And he's walking the same pipes that we just came from, type deal. It's like we came from these pipe areas that was taller than us. So like these pipes were like this tall, type deal, ceiling height. And I can't even touch my ceiling. So these pipes were tall. That's probably what, about 9 feet, I would say. A 9-foot ceiling for me. And we're walking, we see this thing that's dressed in fur coats, and it's taller than the pipes. It was just one of these are like cement pipes that were like huge, and it's walking up beside the pipes, up ahead of us, like we can watch it. There's Kelly. Hey, Kelly. And we're watching these pipes walk ahead of, watching this thing walk up the pipes where we just came from, uphill. And we're like, my dad's like, maybe some guy in a ghillie suit. And I'm like, Dad, he's taller than the pipes that were taller than us. We're 6 foot. It's like, if it's a guy in a ghillie suit, sure, that's possible, but this guy has to be about 8 to 9 feet tall. It's like, I don't think they make ghillie suits that tall. And there was like no skin sewn. It was just fur. So, basically, we saw that. And we started hearing like noises like tree branches breaking. So we went down, we got back to our car and drove away, type deal. I was like, well, that was an experience. I think my dad probably still thinks it was a human. I'm like, it's huge, type deal. But Not one with cats in the backyard. But I think that was probably like some version of Bigfoot, in my opinion. I don't know. But that was one. Another day, I was driving home with my sister. We were coming home from Taco Bell because we always have a Taco Bell night once a week, maybe twice, but usually Thursday nights. Yesterday was Friday night, but yeah. As we're driving home from Taco Bell, there are deer standing on the side of the road, and it's raining and stuff like this. Also, we noticed that the one deer is like moose height. It's huge. This thing, I don't know what it could be. It had antlers. It was moose height. And it stood up, and it had a human body, but it still had antlers on its head. It had a long snout, like face. And it stood up, and it was taller than a tree. And we're like, this thing is, my sister's like, well, that thing's like, I'm like, it's taller than a tree. It's like 12 foot tall type deal. This thing puts Bigfoot to shame type deal. And she's like, it kind of looks like the thing from Iowa's folktale, that if you see it, you are basically gonna get pregnant type deal. Or Native American, if you see it, it's bat or like Wendigo type deal. It's like, it kind of looked like between one of those two things. I'm like, yeah, that was kind of creepy. And yeah, that was one of those things. That one gives me creeps still. Because unlike Bigfoot and the Thunderbird, I don't know what that was. That was something. Oh, this Dell. That's the best I could describe it. And another one that I saw was my sister. We were coming home again from Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatnot. We have those brother sister night out type deal. And we come to our police station in town. As we're coming up, someone runs across the street, across from the post office to the police station. And we watch this thing run across, and the best description is, well, a gargoyle. It's our best description of it, because it had wings, but it didn't use them. It had two protrusions sticking out of its shoulder blades. It didn't use them. It jumped up onto the one windowsill of the police station. These things are like concrete windowsills. And then it jumped up onto another window of the police station. And just did that, like zigzagging up the hill, up on top of the police station. So, our thoughts are, let's go around the block to see if we can see it on the top. And we did. It was sitting at the top of the police station in the one corner. And our response, like our thoughts weren't really thinking, hey, maybe we should go tell the police that there's something on the roof. Until like the day later. And it's like, no idea what that was. But we're like, gargoyle is our best description. Because that's what we can say. It was gray skin, had with black wings, but it didn't use the wings. It climbed up like how gargoyles climb up stuff to glide down. Another thing that my sister saw was with me, but I didn't see because it was on the driver's side, was one day we're driving down the road again, and my sister looks in the rearview mirror on her side, and she's like, there was a gray humanoid human that kind of looks dead. Like, no, like his face was skeleton, gray skin, running beside our car. And I'm like, I look back, I'm like, I don't see anything because I'm in the passenger side, she's driving. And I'm like, I don't see anything over there. This is like, it just ran across the opposite side of the highway, cross traffic, up the hill. I'm like, I didn't see any of that. Now, that's all that was. I can't really describe more than that. But that was, like, I believe my sister, man. If she sees something, she's seen something. And I believe she saw that. Trying to think of other stuff I saw. Oh, when I was a kid, I went to a youth activity. Well, young kids go hang out. It was, I think, somewhere in Amish area. And we're on this bus. It's like, I don't know what type of bus it was. But it was like a bus. Sorry, too much talking. But I was in the bus. I was looking out the window. And there's a river below me. Like, we're on the side of a hill, road, cliff, river. I'm looking down. And as I'm looking down, I see what I described as a kid as a pterodactyl. I still haven't seen this animal in real life again. Even though my dad's like, you saw a blue heron or a crane or something like that. I'm like, no, I saw, if it was, this thing had like a 10-foot neck. Because blue herons crouch their neck like this when they fly. This thing was, well, it went from riverside to riverside. It was across the cliff sides of the valley, the wingspan. It was gray, and herons have like long legs that look like a tail. This thing had long legs and a tail type deal. It wasn't 2 feet. This thing was, it was the 2 legs. It was a super long tail. And it had like some type of a crest on its head. Like a long, pointy, feathery crest. That kind of split out on both sides. Like, it was kind of roundish. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a fan. It looked like a fan on the back of its head. So it was like, it came from the like, top of its head, and it went down like kind of like a halo fan type deal. And it had a long beak, like super long beak. And as a kid, because I was like 5 or 8 or something like that, I don't know what I saw. It's 30 years ago if I was 8. But I saw that. And I was like, As a kid, no one believed me because I'm a kid. By the way, if a kid says something, you should believe them because most of the time they know what they're talking about. That's a story for another time. Especially if they're pointing out, hey, this person's doing something. But that was that. I'm trying to think of anything else I saw. That's not like... There was the one day, I guess I could put this in here. I was coming home again with my sister, and we're going to back roads, and we come across this bend where there's like a field. They're actually working in this area right now. They're like towing it up and turning it into like a high, like they're just putting houses back there right now. But we come across this area that we see this thing that's just like looks like a lady, like I guess in like a raggedy dress, I guess you could say, and she has like a stick in the air, and she's like dancing or something. But the thing that really creeped us out was she had what looked like small rodents, like raccoons and possums and raccoons, possums, maybe a fox or a cat there, a bigger dog like a coyote or a wolf, some other types of cats, and deer hopping around, like dancing in a circle around this lady. And we're like, we slowed the car down to like maybe 5 to 10 miles an hour, passed her, looked at her, she looked at us, and kept on doing it. And we're like, what the heck did we just watch? Like, and I'm like, those deer dancing on the hind legs and stuff? And she's like, yeah. And other animals are like, yeah. And we'll just now driving along, looking at this. Like, this lady didn't look like she was old. She looked young. She looked like she was like, I don't know, maybe strawberry blonde or dirty blonde hair. It's unkept, but it was there. She looked like she was probably in her 20s, maybe 30s. If 40s, she looked good for a 40s type deal. And we saw that, and we're like, yeah, that was creepy. We don't know what that was. I don't even know if that could consider that a witch or a fae. I don't know how to describe that more than what I just told you. Lady dancing in the middle with animals dancing around her. That's the best description I can give you of what exactly that was. And like I said, that area right now is getting construction done. So, haven't seen anything down. Yeah, I have seen coyote, wolves, and mountain lions, so I know that was still in Pennsylvania. It's one of those things you call and they're like, they're not in Pennsylvania, then you're like, go to this number, and then you go to that number, and they're like, yeah, it's in Pennsylvania. It's like, yeah, they're in Pennsylvania. We just never have to say it. It's like the Nittany Lions, Penn State, is literally based off of a lion in Pennsylvania. But yeah, that was that. I don't consider the wolves, coyotes, or mountain lions anything special. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't think there was anything else. So, that's 40 minutes. Guess I'll let you guys go. Leave comments if you've seen anything of these. But that's just some of the stuff I've seen. Some of the notable stuff I've seen. That's a lot more, but it's like 2 seconds here, 2 seconds there type deal. Heck, maybe if I see stuff later on in my life, I'll post another video. And you guys should enjoy that video, or not enjoy it. I don't know. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Yeah, I think it's Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. Yesterday was Friday. See you guys next time. Bye.